Today we're taking a look at the best mini electric skateboards for a college campus or short commute that cost $750 or less. We're comparing the Boosted Mini S, the Riptide R1, and the Acton Blink S. Starting with price, the Blink S is the least expensive, starting at $400. The Riptide R1 comes in at $600, while the Boosted Mini S is $750. We put coupon codes in the description below for 10% off the Riptide and another coupon for Acton. First up with the design of the boards. The Acton Blink S is by far the smallest. It's short and also skinny, making it the smallest out of the three. It's also the lightest at 11 pounds. The Acton also features a single motor that is built inside the wheel. This means the wheel can spin more freely than with belt motors, and makes the board sleek and lighter. The Acton also features built-in lights, both on the front and back, and on the side. They are bright and make the board very visible at night. However, while the front lights can be turned off, the side lights cannot and always stay on. Meanwhile, the Riptide has a wider design, shaped like a carver board and meant for quick and smooth turns. The board also has handles on each side, making it extremely easy to pick up and carry. The Boosted Mini S also features a wide deck, and is only an inch shorter than the Riptide, but it's also the heaviest, weighing 15 pounds. For kicktails, the Acton is tiny, which is not very useful. Meanwhile, the Riptide has a long fishtail, which is very functional while riding. The Boosted Mini S also features a kicktail, which is functional while riding, or when kicking the board up. We love the kicktail on the Riptide, but one downside is that it will easily get damaged due to the fin-shaped design. The Boosted Mini has a protector on the bottom of the board to prevent the board from scratching. For carving, we found the Riptide to be the most fun with nice flows and quick turns. The Boosted is also nice to carve and feels quick and nimble. Meanwhile, the Acton has a shorter wheelbase and doesn't carve as wide. When kick pushing, the Acton has the best coasting due to the in-wheel motor. This means you can kick push the board and ride like a regular skateboard, even when you run out of battery. The Riptide has more resistance than the Acton due to the dual belt motors. We found that the Boosted Mini has the most resistance out of all of them, even compared to the Riptide that also has two belt motors. For range, they advertise 7 miles for the Acton, 7 to 8 miles for the Riptide, and 7 miles for the Boosted. We did a range test on a long path and found that riding on this path and keeping the speed at about 10 to 12 miles per hour, we were able to get 9 miles on the Acton, almost 10 miles on the Riptide, and 8 miles on the Boosted. For city riding, you should expect less range, around 5 to 6 miles or less for each of the boards, depending on what mode you ride, how fast, and how much acceleration and braking. We did notice that the Acton and Riptide both started losing power when the battery got down to around 30%. Meanwhile, the Boosted keeps full power and torque until it runs out of battery completely. Speaking of acceleration and braking, we found that each board has big differences. Starting with the Acton, it has the slowest acceleration and the brake feels jerky when it first comes on. It also takes a long time to come to a complete stop, even as you hold the brake all the way. Next, the Riptide has faster acceleration and stops quicker than the Acton. However, it does not come to an immediate stop as you hold the brake. Finally, the Boosted acceleration feels quick like the Riptide, but even smoother, and the braking is by far the best and most responsive, braking quickly without any jerkiness and comes to a full stop. Taking a quick look at the remotes, it is important to look at the difference. The Boosted remote is ergonomic and features a safety trigger and a rolling wheel to control acceleration and braking. This remote is by far the best remote we have used on an electric skateboard and is extremely responsive. The Riptide remote is much smaller and does not feature a safety trigger. It has a small trigger at the top of the remote. Acceleration is smooth, but the braking is a little sudden at first. Riptide is coming out with a newer remote with an improved design, which you can buy for $35 extra. The Acton remote could definitely use improvement. It feels cheap, and the trigger for acceleration and braking is on the front and hard to grip. This remote also requires AAA batteries, while the Boosted and Riptide are both rechargeable. For apps, both the Boosted and the Acton have smartphone apps, so you can connect to the board and check the battery life and change riding modes. Acton even has the feature to find other nearby riders. Meanwhile, the Riptide does not have an app, and you can change your riding modes directly from the remote, even as you're riding. Overall, we think all three boards have different advantages and disadvantages for you to consider, including the price. Keep in mind each one of these boards offers upgraded versions. Boosted has the Mini X with 20 mph top speed and 14-mile range. Riptide offers the R1X with 22 mph top speed and 14-mile range. Meanwhile, the Acton S2 does 18 mph and 14-mile range. Acton has also just released an updated version of the Blink S, called the Blink SR. This version costs $50 more at $450 and has a refined and more gradual braking, along with higher top speed and acceleration. Alright, that's it for now. Next, be sure to check out some of our other videos on electric skateboards and accessories.